You don't get to dig this kind of place very often. Welcome to the Royal Crescent in Bath, at the very centre of a Roman mystery. Strange scorch marks have been appearing on the grass here, which some local archaeologists think indicate a Roman building. But the really interesting stuff is round the back of the crescent. When the locals built a church here 130 years ago, they discovered Roman sarcophagi, and since then loads of votive offerings have turned up. So what was going on here? Was this simply a family burial plot, or could it have been the place where the great and the good of Roman Bath were buried? Time Team have been given the rare opportunity to try and find out what was going on here at the west end of Roman Bath. And as usual, we've got just 3 days to do it. The Romans came across the hot spring that would eventually become the spiritual and cultural centre of Bath soon after they invaded Britain in AD 43. It must be one of the most documented Roman towns in Britain, but thanks to an invitation from the Bath Archaeological Trust, we now find ourselves behind the Royal Crescent on this rather unprepossessing traffic island half a mile west of the world-famous Baths. Everyone knows about Roman Bath. There's Roman everywhere. Is there much to learn?
I think there is, because we know a lot about what's going on down in the centre, but there are all the potential suburbs and cemeteries around the edge. There's a whole load of stuff we can learn about that.
Not only that, I mean, this is not a part of Bath that's going to get looked at on a routine basis.
No.
I mean, look, it's all built up all the way around. This is the only green space. It's not threatened, and so it gives us a good opportunity to actually find out about this part of Roman Bath.
In fact, the only reason this triangle of grass is still intact is because the church that once stood here, the splendid St Andrew's, was bombed during the war, although our geophys results show a lot of it still there below ground level. It was during the construction of the church in the 1870s that workmen made a fantastic discovery, which was recorded by Bath's then Clerk of Works, James Irvine, who, luckily for us, was a keen antiquarian. What exactly was it that he found?
Sarcophagi, stone coffins with Romans inside them, as far as we know, and some little buildings, just I think right behind where we're standing here.
The point is that he actually left a plan, and it actually shows where the position of the sarcophagi are. There's a more than a suggestion that straight down here there actually is still a sarcophagus in place.
Yeah.
OK, so what's the strategy?
Dig a hole.
A big hole.
A big, deep hole.
We've got a long way to go down.
Yeah.
We've got a long way to go down.
OK, so it's big and it's deep and it's here.
Yeah.
Where?
Pretty much where you're standing.
We're not digging in the church, as there's a good chance any Roman archaeology will have been trashed by its foundations. But Irvine discovered some sarcophagi and walls to the north outside the building. So our first trench will locate the church wall for reference before digging down to the area where he recorded these sarcophagi. We'll then extend into uncharted territory.
5 metres would take us down into there.
But this triangle of grass is only half our quest. We're also going to investigate the Roman heritage of the park in front of the world-famous Royal Crescent. This is the first time any archaeologists have had the chance to dig on this sensitive location, and there are a number of features here that have caught our eye. We're starting with these large rectangular scorch marks, which some locals believe could be the result of Roman building on this site.
We have got the parch mark in the resistance, and that's the line going through there with high resistance either side. But, I mean, it doesn't look like walls to me. I don't think we've got a building. I think it's more likely to allotment.
Oh dear.
I mean, I hope you prove me wrong.
Yep. I mean, if we put a trench in, perhaps if we put one sort of going across, then we should be able to pick it up. So if we do something, maybe put a trench in here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Our first trench in front of the crescent will cut right across the scorch marks and the geophys anomalies. But it's going to be time-consuming work as we have to take extra care not to damage this park. And immediately underneath the turf, there's some good news.
Well, it looks like a piece of that, possibly a piece of that imitation Samian
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
sort of bulb. And that looks like a piece of modern glass. So it's obviously quite disturbed, I think.
Bit of a mix, yes.
Bit of a mix, but that's encouraging.
Oh, well.
That's 2p out of my pocket.
Well, it's a start. Up behind the crescent, it's clear that we've got a major job on our hands. Phil and Peter have only just hit the top of the 1870s church.
Yeah, we should pick up the corner of the vestry there. It should be just below the surface.
It looks like Phil's got a lot of digging to do before we get down onto our Roman cemetery. In the meantime, I'm off to the famous baths to find out why this city was so important to the Roman invaders. Were the Romans picking up on something that the Iron Age people had already started, or did they build this from scratch?
Well, one of the problems is that the Romans have done so much work here. They've almost certainly wiped away nearly all the evidence of pre-Roman activity, so we don't really know. There would have been hot water bubbling out of the ground in a marshy swamp, and that's what the Romans have found. And the Celtic spring, the Celtic shrine, if there was one, would have been a very natural setting. That's the most likely thing anyway. But the Romans have turned it into a holiday camp. This is a place which is a huge religious entertainment relaxation centre full of soldiers coming for cures, quacks, dodgy doctors, people looking to make money, other people coming to curse their enemies to the gods Sulis, Minerva, that kind of thing. There's a whole range of human activity.
You can imagine, can't you, all these soldiers cavorting around in here getting clean after a muddy day in the middle of Bath.
Oh, totally, yes. And some of them, with any luck, will turn out to be buried on our side.
There.
Yeah, that does look more substantial there, doesn't it?
Well, we might find some soldiers buried on our site.
Is that some sort of a facing?
Shouldn't be, you should be in the wall.
Wow.
There.
But the Victorian church seems to be really hampering Phil and Peter. I'm beginning to wonder if we'll see any Roman burials in the next 3 days.
But wouldn't it be easier if you put your little smaller bucket on?
Or even the next 3 months. Are you two still talking about this flipping church? Can you kill the digger for a sec? We're not digging for 19th century church artefacts, we're digging for Roman.
Oh dear, we're having a bit of trouble with the presenter, aren't we? I mean,
So where do we think the sarcophagi might have been?
It should be about under that rubble
Over
with the
there.
stones in there.
Sorry, this... You don't mind me getting in?
no.
About here somewhere?
Yeah.
Well, where's the excavation? All I can see is 2 lumps of concrete.
We were standing in the excavation, Tony. The excavation
an early
is
stage.
defined by the area with no grass on it.
I'm happy with that, I can live with it.
Can we carry on now?
You should never get in the way of Phil and his archaeology. Down in front of the crescent, our diggers haven't found any firm evidence of Roman occupation.
Just got 1 or 2 bits of Roman pottery out here.
Bits of Roman pottery, but
Then you'd
also
get that anyway, wouldn't you? You'd
Yeah.
get that as, I mean, I found a bit of Roman pottery in my garden the other day. So, you know, it's everywhere, isn't it?
it's almost everywhere. It certainly should be everywhere in Bath.
It should,
but,
yes. And if this is out in the fields beyond the city, you'd expect them to be manuring and you'd get the odd bits anyway, wouldn't you?
yeah, absolutely.
So 1 bit of Roman pottery doesn't make a villa, does it?
Not yet.
This lack of any major Roman evidence is, to put it mildly, rather frustrating. It's not as if this area's barren. Just metres from Phil's trench, archaeologists discovered over 100 Roman items that resemble votive offerings. So it's been assumed that we're digging on a sacred site. But it now seems that Guy's sceptical about the significance of these earlier finds.
I can't see any reason to conclude that any of this is religious.
Really?
Well, there's no name of any god, there's no evidence of any process of ritual. I mean, look at this. This is just a piece of bronze that's melted and it's just cooled down as a kind of shapeless lamp. And there
So
are
there's
quite a
more
lot.
like a factory than a
Yeah,
temple.
and there's quite a few pieces like that. So I think that this is probably a place where scrap metal has come in to be worked into other goods, and we don't know what that is yet.
So what are the implications of that for our cemetery?
It's far too early to say at the moment because we're dealing with a multi-period site. Maybe our cemetery is built over a place that was earlier an industrial site, or maybe an industrial site grows up where there was earlier a cemetery. We don't know enough about it yet.
But am I right in saying this completely undermines our first assumptions?
Well, There's no figure of a god, there's no name of a god, there's no inscription of a god, there's no evidence of a ritual to god, so I can't see how you could come to that conclusion.
So the answer is yes.
I'm afraid so.
I'm now beginning to feel slightly concerned about the prospects for this site. And there's even worse news to come.
Have you got this sarcophagus then, Phil?
Well, that might not be as simple as that, Mick.
We've been using Irving's records to search for the sarcophagi, but they were made when the church was originally built. And it now looks like a later extension may have trashed everything.
So we may have lost all these sarcophagi down here.
That's right, because you've got to remember, the original church is 1871.
Yeah.
This extension is 1907.
Right, and whatever they found or destroyed there, we don't know about, presumably.
No.
Right.
With Irving's sarcophagi trashed by this later build, we've no choice but to extend our trench into virgin territory.
So
we
we're
should pick
likely
that
to
up.
go that way rather than this way now.
All is not lost, Mick.
All right. Bit of a blow, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but, you know, we want archaeology that we find for the first time. I
Yeah.
don't want to see archaeology that some Victorian found 100 years ago.
Down on the Crescent, we can now confirm the scorch marks aren't the result of a Roman building, but instead seem to have some sort of geological origin.
And that does look a bit browner across the middle there, doesn't it?
More clay.
That would be enough to give us this colour of the grass, wouldn't it?
It could well be.
You think of stone, clay, stone.
Yep. And it is on the line, isn't it, of the green,
Yeah.
where the grass is
Yeah.
greener, so...
So dig it out.
Yeah, let's have a look at it, see what
Okay.
it is, yeah.
We're also opening another trench across the other scorch mark just to be sure. But we haven't finished with the Crescent just yet. I've been doing my own in-depth research. Well, I've been talking to the locals, and I think we've got another target. Stuart, take a look at this. We were just outside and someone was just watching us making the programme and they showed us this air picture. And can you see that parch mark there?
Oh, yes, I see that.
These scorch marks show a long straight feature that runs up through the Crescent towards Julian Road, which in turn follows the route of the old Julian Way, the main Roman road that linked Bath to London and Bristol. The marks also line up with a road surface discovered by Irving during the construction of the church. Some local archaeologists believe this could be the Fosse Way, the main Roman arterial road through Britain.
Does that look like a road to you? Well, it does on the face of it, doesn't it?
I mean, it's this straight and linear-looking sort of
You can see
feature.
it coming straight down there.
Archaeologists have found bits of the road coming into Bath and bits of it coming out. But so far, the Fosse Way's route through the city remains a mystery.
The next plan is to take this sort of gap between all these roads and try and work out where our sort of elusive road is.
So the big question is, would the line in the Crescent work as part of the Fosse Way?
You're not going to build a road up a steep slope. So what we can do with the computer is to look at where the steepest slopes are and get it to calculate the best possible route with the least effort, effectively, between 2 points. So where the road potentially could be.
Well, all I can say is that the Romans didn't have £20,000 worth of software and computer to play. I'm taking a slightly different approach, which is a box of highlighters, a map, some contours, and building up a 3D model of the landscape according to the contours. And do we come to the same conclusion?
As Stuart and Henry get to grips with the wider picture, geophiz have started surveying the area where our road appears.
Phil, are you getting any finds out of that?
Oh, aye.
On the other side of the Crescent, Phil's now 2 metres down, and his hard labour may finally be paying off.
And we've actually got, look, we've got our first coin in there.
Well, it's Roman, isn't it?
Oh, it's definitely a Roman one.
So what date's this then?
3rd or 4th century, isn't it? Until it's cleaned up, we'll get a better
That's
idea.
all right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the sort of
Yeah.
stuff we expect out of that.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we can dig into that tomorrow then?
Yeah, it shouldn't be much more than about a foot thick.
Right. That's
Oh, wow.
good, isn't it?
Yeah, we can do that. And then the burials are likely to be below that then, are
That's
they?
what they should be cut into the ground surface immediately below that.
Well, that'll
That's
give
good,
us something to look forward to.
There's going to be a lot more digging to do in Trench 1 tomorrow, but at least we do now have some hope. And it's also been a mixed day down on the Crescent trenches. We're now certain there was no Roman occupation there. But amazingly, the evidence suggests a nearby Iron or Bronze Age settlement. A first for Bath archaeology.
We've got one feature here showing up in both trenches, and it's actually a ditch which we think runs through.
Any finds?
Yeah, we have, but they're not Roman.
What are they?
Well, we've got several prehistoric finds.
Oh.
We've got this pottery. It looks horrible, but it's great stuff. And it looks very much like Iron Age or maybe even Bronze Age pottery. And also, we've got a couple of flints, which are very definitely Bronze Age.
Mick, this is a fairly disastrous day, isn't it? The parch marks are pants, there's nothing Roman here at all. We've got a Victorian church over the other side. Guy says our votive offerings aren't votive offerings. Nothing Roman.
No, but it's not been a bad day. I mean, up there, we've taken all that rubble off. We're now down on the top of the Roman layer. So we've taken all day to do that, and this is fantastic news. This is a piece of Bath's archaeology we didn't know about, that it's got prehistoric stuff underneath it.
But not Roman?
No. But tomorrow we'll get that, because now we're on the top of the Roman layer up the top there. We'll take that off. That's where the sarcophagi started in the previous excavations, and we've still got the Roman road to look at over here.
You say a Roman road, but how on earth are we going to put another trench in here? You know what these people in Bath are like. They're all rabid environmentalists. There's no chance of them letting us dig another hole.
If we give them the Fosse Way, they'll love it.
You
They
sure?
Really, yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's hope Mick's right. Let's hope tomorrow we find the sarcophagus, and let's hope the people of Bath are as happy with us digging in their swards as Mick seems to think they are. Daybreak over the Royal Crescent in Bath can be one of the most beautiful sights in Britain. But that was yesterday. This is today. The start of day 2 of our dig in Roman Bath is a flurry of showers and heavy rain, interrupted by occasional persistent drizzle.
Oh, here's Mary Poppins.
It's only 8:30 in the morning and we're already all soaked. But work carries on regardless.
I mean, I am absolutely drenched.
In Phil's trench, we're now digging through Roman stuff that's been washed down the hill over the centuries. But we should be less than a metre away from Roman burials. While down in front of the Crescent, we're about to investigate what may be a missing part of the Fosse Way, one of the major Roman roads in Britain. Stuart's still keeping his options open, but his research so far does indicate that we could be onto something.
But I've been looking at some of the early map evidence.
This is the whole city of Bath.
That's it, Bath there. 1852, this
Right,
one.
yeah.
Where just there's a crescent marked in
Yeah.
there. You see this long boundary that comes right through here. It's got a parish boundary,
Yeah.
a mead along it, big long boundary, and it's actually mentioned in a Saxon charter of 970 as being the Fosse Street. Now this is a sort of classic thing you see with evidence for early Roman roads,
Yep.
or long features which are in the landscape at the Saxon period. They're old features then almost. And if you look at its alignment, when it crosses the river, it will come straight up towards the Crescent. Now, if you translate that to another map, here, that alignment put onto here, that's it. The red lines are the marks off the air photography. Well, that alignment comes straight up here.
It's a very strong alignment, isn't it?
Oh,
I mean,
it is.
If it
Yeah.
goes across the river as well.
Yeah, I think what we don't know yet, we don't know if that's a road, we don't know it's Roman, and even if it is Roman, we don't know what period Roman it
Yeah.
is. So we're sort of speculating, not knowing whether that is a Roman road or not yet.
Well, we've really got to put a trench across it, haven't we?
So our third trench in the Crescent goes in to investigate this feature. Now, Stuart's still a bit sceptical about calling it a Roman road, let alone the Fosse Way. But I feel the evidence is stronger than ever. We already have these fantastic linear features that we're looking at in the Crescent, plus the antiquarian records of a road intersecting with the Julian Way. And recently, the Bath Archaeological Trust dug some test pits beside our incident room, and they revealed a substantial road surface exactly on the same alignment. It's a very impressive hole, but which bit's the Roman road?
It's those layers in the bottom, about a foot or just over.
But I can see at least 3 different layers here. You've got clay here, then you've got a build-up of stone, then more clay below that. Is that all been built at one period of time?
No, that's all successive resurfacings, which we're pretty sure are Roman. I mean, the whole thing, we know from a borehole that the engineers put down behind us, that it's nearly 1 metre thick, that Roman metalling. And the bulk of that's going to be something that grew up over the years.
To my eye, it doesn't seem as though it's flat, though. It seems to be sloping off, if you look at those stones, down in that direction.
That's right. We're right on the very edge of the road.
Oh, so it's the
here.
camber.
This is the very side of the camber.
Yeah.
If we'd been anywhere else, we could have just said this is a gravel floor within a building. It was a common material to use. But the fact we've got this camber, and right down in the bottom, you can even see the wheel ruts. Just on the far side of the trench in front of you there, you've got 2 lovely polished wheel ruts.
Where's that? Just about here somewhere?
That's right. One running alongside the edge directly below me.
Oh, this thing
That's
here?
Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of them there. And then about 1.5 foot to the left, you've got another one running through there.
How do you know that they're wheel ruts and not just an enthusiastic archaeologist who's dug in a bit too deeply?
That's right. It's something we've seen elsewhere. We've carried out a few excavations on the Fosse Way south of Bath, and we've found these same surfaces made of gravel and stones all rammed down together. And you get these wheel ruts, sometimes in pairs, just single pairs of ruts going up through the road. And that's exactly what we found here.
If we've got the Julian Way going that way along here, and we've got the Fosse Way coming up to it right here, and we've got our cemetery or whatever it is right in the angle of that, that's a significantly important site, isn't it?
It is, it's a major site.
If only we could actually get down onto that major site.
How far down have we got to go then?
About that.
We're now extending Trench 1 to make it safe to go deeper, but it still feels like we're a long way away from Roman ground level.
Yeah, I feel a bit worried about it, to be honest.
Why?
Well, we're at a hell of a depth, you know, and you're still talking about going down, as we talked before. You know,
Well, that's the only direction we can go, Mick.
I know, but it looks like you might be in a little tiny hole in the bottom by the time we're down at the right level.
Yeah. Well, look. Remember, we can extend.
We can
out
still
that
go
way.
that way.
We
Yeah,
can
yeah.
extend out that
Yeah,
way. We haven't pursued that option yet.
God, the logistics are horrendous, aren't they?
Well, it's the only way you can do it.
Yeah,
To get a big enough hole.
You want
like
a coffee?
A couple of sugars in it.
Yeah.
Right.
We've dug another trench on this site to test a geophys result. But apart from a Victorian gatepost and 7 sorts of mud, we've so far found nothing. But we're not giving up just yet. Perseverance is crucial on a time team dig. Just ask Phil.
That almost looks like 1, 2 stones in a
In a
line.
row.
Oh, look, there's what? Now then. Look at that. Now there's another one.
Yep,
One edge of it there,
that's right.
and there's the other bit of it there.
At last.
There he goes.
After 1.5 days and 2.5 metres down, we finally have a result in Phil's trench.
Phil, Marek, here we are.
Oh, typical. Just of you to turn up like this while you was getting coffee. Look what we found.
Oh, wow, is that Roman wall?
That's the Roman wall.
I'll go away more often.
No, leave the coffee though.
So you're completely happy that that's Roman?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that at all.
Do we know where it goes?
Well, it goes under this buttress. We know that because of the previous excavation. Irving found this wall, you know, when the church was being built.
So are we here somewhere?
No, we're not. Look, we're out the front of the buttress. There's the buttress on the ground, and the wall is coming out from under it, across the bottom of the trench. So I've marked it on here, look, so you can see the alignment, and it's part of the same building. This is actually new archaeology, and this has never been seen before.
Our hope now is that this wall may belong to a mausoleum, a building that would house a high-status Roman burial.
Here's the trench, here's the buttress. We've got the wall coming out there that Mick's just shown you. Could that be it?
All right.
That's the right sort of depth.
And so that's over there, look, Tony. We've marked it out where the ranging rods are. It goes roughly in line there, carrying on the line of the wall, and then turns about where the big lamp is.
I mean, the implication is we've got to dig at least another 5 metres.
If it is this size, Mick,
Yeah.
it's a heck of a big mausoleum.
I
isn't
know,
it?
that's what worries me.
Why?
I mean, mausoleum to me means a small stone box-like structure where you put the bodies or the bones. This is looking much more like a building now. I wonder whether it isn't something facing a street and it's not to
It's
do
not
with the
the
cemetery.
mausoleum
Not
at
a
all.
mausoleum at all. But if it was a Roman building and we were next to a street, that'd be good. There is one big problem about that, however.
What?
Phil can't find any occupation debris. There's hardly any pottery or anything like that. So I think we just got to wait and see. Having got this far, get more of it, and then look at it.
It's an eventful dig, this, isn't it?
It is. It's like a roller coaster. One thing after another.
Even though the weather's closing in again, Phil's got no choice but to keep on digging.
You've got to stop sounding so happy. When you're wet, you're supposed to be miserable.
You'll break your spirit yet.
Down on the Crescent, Sophie and her diggers are also braving the atrocious conditions as they continue to investigate our possible Roman road.
You can see it's muddy.
I'll give you a hand, but my back's bad.
Oh, go on, stay.
I'll admit that the state of play is much better than this time yesterday, but I can't help feeling rather let down. We're in one of the most Roman places in Britain, and to be perfectly honest, we haven't really got that many finds. All this stuff is Bronze Age.
Yeah.
And we've got this desultory little pile of Roman. Peter, you said to us, come to Roman Bath, you'll be tripping over the Roman finds. What's gone wrong?
Two explanations, both of them work. This reflects what we've dug. We've dug 18th century deposits on our way down to the Roman. We've just scraped the top of the Roman over on the green, and we've dug two sections through our amazing Bronze Age ditch down there, and we produced Bronze Age material. So where we've dug in the right layers, we found the right stuff. We're going to get more of this. Now, the second part of the explanation is to cover me if we don't get any much more of this. It's looking like it's not very domestic out there. If this is ritual, burial, ceremonial, we're not going to get a huge amount of this domestic stuff.
Is this a man who's desperately trying to protect his back?
Well, I have to say, as a Romanist, I'm not exactly got to the point where I'm having to contain my insane excitement. I think we're either on the wrong place, or we haven't dug far enough yet, or, as Peter says, we've got to remember that the main central part of Roman Bath is some way away, so perhaps we've just got to look forward to those burials that may be a little bit further down.
What do you hope to find here in the next day and a half?
I think the most realistic, optimistic hope we can have now is to hope that we find some more of those sarcophagi with inhumations in that we'll be able to analyse, similar to those found in the 19th century that weren't recorded properly and weren't analysed.
I wouldn't mind just a tiny Roman pot. Any sane person would have packed up and gone home hours ago, but where's the fun in that? Phil's continuing to battle the elements as he cleans up the mysterious wall in Trench 1. And despite all the doom and gloom, we've now got something genuinely exciting to shout about down on the Crescent. Sophie, you got our Roman road?
Well, we've got this crushed gravel, limestoney gravel.
Hold on a minute. In this teeming rain, where all I can see is puddles and moisture, I can't see anything. Where does it start, this gravel?
It starts, well, actually, where the puddles are, funnily enough. It just starts along there.
Do we know how far it goes in this direction?
It goes beyond the edge of the trench, so...
Is this what you'd expect to see as a Roman road round here?
Compared to the Roman road that's been found beyond the Crescent and elsewhere, this crushed gravel surface is consistent with what Roman roads like here, yeah.
Now, how does it tie up with this Roman road in the parch marks?
Your Roman road. It's to this side of it. We're along that line there, Tony.
This really does look promising. Unfortunately, the weather and the light are getting so bad that any further excavation here will have to wait until tomorrow. But Stuart and Henry can continue to plot possible routes for the Fosse Way in the comfort of the incident room. It's relatively warm and dry in here, but outside the rain's still tipping down. It's been raining solidly for about 4 hours now, so much that it's got inside all our wet weather gear, down our backs, down our sleeves. Our socks are soaking, our pants are soaking, we're all really cold. And it's getting inside the cameras too. One camera's gone down, a lot of the other equipment's gone down. You can hardly see what's at the bottom of the trenches, can you?
Half the sides just dropped in as well.
Look at that.
I mean, I pulled all the diggers out of here because it's getting dangerous, you know, this slippy clay. So I said, you know, it's just write it off for the day.
It's crazy. What about the other trench?
Well, the other one we can carry on a bit because we've got the machine, you see.
Yeah.
And he's in the dry. And we've got a huge amount of rubble to empty out of there, if you remember from this morning.
It's raining harder again, isn't
And
it?
this is all the stuff that's coming out.
This stuff
look.
round here?
Yeah. And this of course, it looks archaeological.
Yeah.
But it's the Victorian church that's coming out.
Yeah. Oh, this is starting to slip too.
Yeah, and the massive blocks coming out, you see. That you can see it's getting to be a huge hole now.
Phil?
Tony?
How's it going down there?
Well, you can imagine we're pretty cold, pretty wet and pretty miserable.
This is madness. There are some times when you've just got to admit defeat. But not everyone's off for a hot bath. Geophys have been volunteered to continue their survey of the Crescent in the hunt for another section of the road. While our digger driver is preparing Phil's trench for our last big push tomorrow. Throughout this whole really dreadful afternoon, one thing has kept going, and that's been our Roman wall. But what is it? And are we going to find Roman bodies by the side of it? What a difference a bit of sun makes. Beginning of day 3, 2 days ago, our major objectives were to discover whether or not there was once a big Roman road running through Royal Crescent over there, and to see whether there was once a major Roman cemetery down there. The answer to both questions after 48 hours investigation is we haven't got the faintest idea. But the weather's picked up, everyone's much more optimistic. Mick, what are we going to do down here today?
Well, I mean, we've got the wall. We know that there might be a return from the radar, so we're going to look for that. So that's why we've got the digger over there. And then Phil and Marek are going down either side of that wall, because we're still wondering what it is, whether it's a cemetery wall, whether it's a mausoleum, or whether it's an enclosure. It doesn't appear to be occupation, but we need to look either side of it to find out.
It's not looking great at the moment. Do you think we're going to find burials?
No, it's not. I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, it's not looking very hopeful, one has to say. But that's the nature of archaeology, see. You can't predict what's there. You carry out the investigation to find out what's there. And there may not be anything there. And, you know, we have to accept that. We can't invent it. If it's not there, we can't find it.
But if it is there, we're going to find it.
If it's there, we'll find it.
We're throwing everything we can at this trench. But we haven't forgotten our tasks down on the other side of the Crescent. Yesterday afternoon, we unearthed a road surface that lines up with other pieces of Roman road discovered nearby. Could this be a missing part of the Fosse Way, one of the most important military roads in Roman Britain? We're now putting in another trench further down the hill to find out if this road continues on the same alignment.
There is no request to have fencing around this because there's lots of people and there's about to be a large trench from JCB over.
Yesterday, it rained down our backs, it rained in our socks, it rained in our pants. There was so much rain in the trenches, we couldn't see the archaeology. This has been such a frustrating sight. And not just because of the weather, but just when all seems hopeless.
Could have a human here. We've got a lower limb bone, a tibia or possibly a femur.
This is fantastic news. The only problem is, this possible skeleton is actually 250 yards from Phil's trench, down by the Roman roadside in front of the Crescent.
What are we going to do about this, Pete? Because we can't even be sure what date this is coming at the moment.
We know it's later than the Neolithic. We've got this rather nice little flint tool
crikey, that's
out
right,
of the
isn't
soil that's cut by the cut that those bones appear to be in. It's possible that if this is a burial, it's in the Roman road ditch.
Oh, right. Well,
it could be
quite
late or
useful,
post-Roman.
This could be really important, because Romans had a tradition of burying bodies in the ditches of roads.
Right then, well, I think we need to carry on, don't we, so that you can see more, really.
Yes, definitely. I'd like to see more before I
tell
you more
let's get
about
on with
it.
that, because time is limited.
Right.
We now need to extend the trench and try to find any grave cut. The results will establish if this is a formal burial or for some reason a body just dumped in the ditch. There are still no signs of bodies in Phil's trench, but we have found the corner of the wall, and it's a very large structure.
But if you can bear to tear yourself away, come and have a look what we got in this other bit here.
Oh, look, I've only just started.
Oh, no.
Phil's also possibly found evidence of its destruction. What you got?
Well, look, we got this incredible level of burning. Look at all this charcoal down here. And here, look, we're beginning to get big fragments of roofing slate. I think what we're looking at now is the demolition of this building, the collapse of the roof. All the roofing timbers are burning, and so that means that the floor is just underneath there.
You don't think that could be burning associated with the burning of bodies?
I don't think so. No, I mean there's no burnt bone or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is classic demolition rubble.
Down in front of the crescent, we now know that our body was buried here on purpose.
We think we have a cut because there's a definite difference in the soil here.
So this is where they dug the hole to put the body in?
Yes, that's right. We started to uncover lots of coffin nails.
Oh, crikey.
Which are coming down here. You can see a line.
Yeah, and another one over here.
We've just started to mark them out with labels that you can see.
So we've got a burial in a coffin, presumably in the side ditch of the road, haven't we?
Yes, that's right.
So presumably it's a proper burial rather than somebody dumped.
Yes, it's a deliberate burial.
And it's certainly, judging by the sun, it's more north, south than east, west, isn't it?
Yes.
So that would suggest it's sort of pagan rather than Christian, wouldn't it?
Yep, definitely.
The circumstantial evidence is very strong. Coffin nails, the undisturbed body, the grave cut in a north-south alignment in the ditch of a road do strongly suggest a Roman burial. And in turn, that would seem to increase the importance of the road the body's buried beside. The Fosse Way theory is still standing up. But it's a different story up in Phil's trench, where we thought we had a major cemetery.
Most of the debris we're getting out here, the finds, all that like ordinary occupation debris to me.
And we've got flue tile, possibly central heating.
So you're thinking of this as more of a domestic structure now?
Well, we came here thinking this was a cemetery, but in fact what we've found is much more like occupation domestic debris. We've got some Samian whale, that's second century, but in fact that's in the same level as coins going right up to the beginning of the 4th century.
So what's going on then? Are we thinking this more of a domestic building now?
It's looking like it, yeah.
If you've got sarcophagi from over here, how does that fit in with domestic occupation, which you're saying is over a very long period during the Roman occupation?
The Romans didn't have a hang-up about using earlier graveyards as a place to build houses.
So we've got a too clear-cut impression then, have we, of where cemeteries are and where habitation is.
You remember a couple of years ago we did an excavation in Walcott Street, north of the centre of Bath, the Baths, and we had Roman buildings, a lot of occupation, workshops, shops, houses, and then right next to one of them were two very clear inhumation burials, late Roman, almost in the alleyway by the side of the house.
Yeah. So the impression I'm getting is you've got domestic occupation and burials all mixed up together, which is not really how we're sort of taught to think of the Roman period, where there's the settlement areas and cemetery areas. You're saying it's much more mixed up than that.
That's Roman law, and we don't know how that applied to these smaller towns, which Bath is one. It was well known, but in Roman times it's not a city.
We thought it was a cemetery. It obviously is more than just a cemetery, and it may have been a cemetery at more than one occasion, and also a domestic place on more than one occasion.
And just to add to the general consternation, the trench we opened this morning down on the Crescent is already yielding results. And would you believe it? More bones! Excellent. Alice, what is it?
It's human, so I'm happy. We've got a skull down there. You can just sort of see the outline of it. The top of it's come off, so we've just got that edge of it there. That's the top of the arm, just there, the top of the right arm. And we've got the beginning of the right shoulder blade there as well.
I know you only got a scatter of bones at the moment, but can you tell anything about the person?
Yes, I can already age it. We've got some of the teeth from the lower jaw there. So that's a bit of the lower jaws that fits sort of about there on me. And these are the first two molars, and you can see that they're quite worn. You can see that the cusps have disappeared. So a very rough estimate of age just from that is 25 to 35 years of age.
This find would be great by itself, but the trench also has a road surface.
We've got the road surface showing up really, really nicely here. And what's better, it lines up with the road that we got in the other trench.
The one up there?
Yeah, that one over there.
Perfect.
And we dug a little bit deeper in here just to see how thick the gravel is, and it goes quite a long way down, so it's actually really quite a substantial road.
So it's a bigger, better road than we thought it was yesterday?
Yeah, I think probably what's happened is it's eroded up there, and this is really the makeup of it. And, you know, that's a lot of work to go to build it up like that. It's more what we'd expect.
Now, to me, this is very exciting. 2 trenches, each with a burial, and a road surface that lines up with Irvin's findings and the earlier test pits dug by the Bath Archaeological Trust. And the road surfaces are similar to bits of the Fosse Way excavated outside Bath. The evidence that we've found a missing bit of the Fosse Way seems to me to be overwhelming. But Henry and Stuart still don't seem to be convinced.
Coming to my interactive digital 3D terrain model. This is the easy route. This is what we know. It exists along this route here.
Yep.
This is our site here, the red pin. And all the evidence points to a crossing just here.
Yep.
So we've either got a route that comes up and round our red pin, goes up this slope and down that steep slope, like that, which doesn't look particularly logical to me. So what does your computer tell you?
Right, well, the easier route would totally bypass this site. It would be quite far away from here. You're talking a couple hundred metres.
Yeah.
That means one of 2 things. Either the routeway which we're finding out the front isn't the Fosse Way, or there's a particular reason why, when they're building that road, they chose not to take the easiest or most logical route.
Yeah.
Henry and Stuart have now got only a couple of hours to determine whether or not we're digging the Fosse Way. In the meantime, the excavation of the bodies continues in the Crescent, while up in the Triangle, Phil's really done us proud. What started off as a few stones is now a really impressive Roman wall. Phil, it's not often we get 6 courses of a Roman wall that no one's ever found before.
Now, it is quite an incredible piece of wall, Tony. Not only have we got these 6 courses, right down here we've actually got the foundation courses as well. And in the last few minutes we've actually machined right the way through into the natural bedrock. So we can say quite conclusively that we've not got any burials in this part of the site.
But are there any finds?
Oh, we've got an amazing array of finds. I mean, we've got some beautiful Samian pottery, and we can actually show that there are workshops around here actually making pots. We've got this amazing waster that has been rejected in the firing, and these enormous slabs of roofing tile, so we know that the buildings would have had a slate roof. It's an incredible assemblage.
Peter, we came here to find a sarcophagus, but actually what we've got is a completely different story.
Yeah, but it's a really good story. It still ties in with the sarcophagi and the burials. And it's pretty clearly now a workshop and a house. The finds that Phil showed us down there, that's absolutely classic for people living and working here. That piece of pottery that was, you know, it's made here.
So why do we have workshops next to a sarcophagus?
Right, it's a change, it's history. The road here must have got busier for some reason, we just don't know why. And people came along, this bit of the cemetery stopped being used. And it happens even these days. And they built houses on the site. Probably real estate got more valuable. This is where people are living, not dying.
So it's a complete redevelopment?
It is, yeah, it's a big change of plan.
So in the end, this trench is a testament to the expansion of Roman Bath into the suburbs, with houses and workshops taking up land that was only previously used for burials. With our work finished behind the Crescent, all our attention turns to the park, where we've now almost completely uncovered the body in the first road trench.
Have you been able to decide what sex it is? I mean, presumably it's obviously an adult, isn't it?
Yes, it's definitely an adult, and I know that because the epiphyses, the ends of the long bones, have fused.
Okay.
We have a complete skeleton here, so I can look at a whole range of features to assign age and sex.
So what is it, man or woman?
It's a male.
Now, how do you know that?
Well, first of all, the most accurate indicator that we've got here is the pelvis.
Right.
And what we call the sciatic notch. You've actually got the angle of this sciatic notch is actually quite narrow. In females, it's much wider. This individual does have very pronounced brow ridges, and at the back of the skull on the occipital bone, there's pronounced nuchal crest where the muscles would have sat.
So although we think it's probably Roman, and we know it's orientated north-south, we can definitely say it's a man. But what about the age?
I'm happy to say it's a male. I would say that this individual is at least 30 years of age.
But what of the road he's buried beside? It seems to line up with the last known bit of the Fosse Way, and the burials we've discovered suggest to me we're looking at something important. However, Stuart's not convinced.
They're not going to put a major Roman road like this, the Fosse Way, up a steep slope if they can follow the contour around it. And what we're seeing here as the Fosse Way heads into Bath is it coming along the base of the contours of this hill, and they're following the line of least resistance.
So show me where you think the Fosse Way actually went round here.
If you see where the roundabout is, where the Fosse Way crosses this modern bypass, you can see the route coming in along here where the modern road is, and it will snake round the base of the contour and head to a ford over the river there, which is below our site.
In which case, the Roman road that we found in the Royal Crescent is roughly parallel to it, isn't it?
It is. I think what we've found evidence of a Bronze Age landscape in those pictures that Sophie was digging, and some of those boundaries actually might be earlier than the Roman period. Now, my suspicion at the moment is what we're seeing is a series of roads that go with the settlements on the edge of Bath. It's not actually the primary road itself.
But even if the Fosse Way did hug the bottom of the hill during some of the Roman occupation, it doesn't rule out our road being the Fosse Way at some other point. Roman roads changed course over history as needs demanded, and we've certainly uncovered a substantial road purposely built up a steep hill. And it's a road with properly interred burials beside it. What were all these bodies doing by the side of the road?
But what I think it might mean is that there's a cemetery actually going that way, on that side of the road.
Why?
Well, because, you know, we're not likely to get just a line of burials up the road. Or that'd be very exciting if we did. It's more likely to be part of a cemetery that's spreading this way, and we're just getting the edge of them. So it's added another little bit to the picture here. I mean, everywhere around Bath, they find skeletons. When they developed a cemetery on the south side in the 19th century, they started to put the 19th century bodies in and found there was a Roman body in the bottom of every grave. There was another cemetery there. It is a place that people have come to for the cure, the waters over a long time, and many of them haven't made it, so there's an awful lot of cemeteries here.
Yeah, presumably it's a bit like the South Coast in our time.
I wasn't going to say that.
Older people tend to come here. Three days ago, we came here to Bath looking for Roman burials and some mysterious buildings. We found both, except, not unusually for Time Team, they weren't in the places that we expected them. Over there in the triangle, where we expected bodies, we found buildings, and here in the crescent, where we expected buildings, we found bodies. But at least the road was in the right place.